why do we get triggered by certain situations over and over? Why do some people really annoy the heck out of us, so much so that we ruminate or feel stuck for days? It's because of our core wounds. In this video, I'm going to share what core wounds are, how they show up in your life, and how to heal them once and for all, so you don't keep feeling triggered, abandoned, rejected, paralyzed, controlled. Because when we feel like that, we recreate those situations in our lives. So those are the three things that we're going to do in this video. Let's get started. Number one, what are core wounds? Core wounds are beliefs that we pick up from our childhood, from the first 15 to 20 years of our lives. And they are developed from the things that we longed for back then. So if you longed to be seen or felt like you had to perform constantly in order to get your parents or caregivers' attention and respect and affection, or you felt unsafe in some way, or you really saw that they were doing their best, but they were just busy working multiple jobs, and so often didn't notice that you were being bullied at school. All these things that sometimes are big T traumas and sometimes are a series of little t traumas happen to all of us. And so from that, we create some beliefs about how the world is, and it feels like the absolute truth to us. In this way, core wounds are sort of like the trunk of a tree, right? The roots are so deep in the soil that you don't even see it from the outside. Another way that I think about it is like filters on your glasses. Let's say you wear a pair of glasses or just your naked eyes. If there's a filter in front of it that's red colored, and if you don't know that it's a filter, then you're going to think the whole world is red, and you're going to operate as if that's true. That's how core wounds sort of trick us. And these beliefs actually were helpful back then because they helped you make sense of the world and navigate the home or the environment or the community that you were born into. It was useful and adaptive back then, but now it's become maladaptive because you're recreating the same scenarios because you're operating as if it's still true. So that's what core wounds and core beliefs are, okay? Number two, how do they work? The way they work is, let's say I had this wound of not feeling as good or as successful or loved as my sibling. Okay, maybe my sibling was really good at sports and my dad was, a college football person and really admired my brother for his athletic prowess. And I was more of a bookworm and felt sort of maybe even a little bit ridiculed or at least not seen by my parent with such awe, right? Then I might have the wound of, I don't belong, I'm not good enough. And so I have that wound of, oh, I really wish that somebody would notice my, strengths and the things that I like and ask me about my interests and love me for who I am. And that longing converts into a belief that I'm not good enough or I don't belong, and I just will not be loved for who I am, okay? That belief then covers and colors my whole world, such that even when I'm 30 and 40 years old, I operate as if that's just the truth, like gravity. And when I see the world like that, then I will react to anything that happens in the environment. Someone not returning a text on time, or my boss, making a snippy comment, or my spouse challenging me on a financial decision. Anything that is uncomfortable in my environment, I will take that to be proof of my core wound. And then I will react in ways that are harsh or withdrawn, which will make that relationship worse. And because that relationship gets worse, I then say, see, I'm not good enough. Clearly, I don't belong. Clearly, I'm not loved. So it recreates the wound over and over when I operate from that place and believe that it is still true in the world right now. Okay. Number 3, how do we heal this? Well, healing actually requires 2 parts. Okay. Number 1 is the reprogramming of these core wounds from the roots. Remember, I said the roots and the trunk is the core wounds. From that, the branches are the thoughts and feelings, and the leaves and flowers are the reactions that you have. So it all comes from these roots and the trunk. So we need to heal it from the roots. We can't just be pruning the leaves because it will just recreate it again since it's coming from the subconscious psyche. So the number 1 thing is to reprogram it from the subconscious so we can eliminate these core wounds being poked all the time. And there are 2 ways to do that. This is, by the way, something that we go deep into. It takes about 60 days to completely reprogram your core wounds such that you're never triggered again, ever in your relationships. That doesn't mean that you might not disagree or you might not want to or need to have a conversation, but you'll be able to do it from a calm, confident, connected, compassionate, curious place, from a courageous place. You will never again be so overwhelmed by emotion, whether it's anger or fear or anxiety or paralysis, that you go in circles. So it takes about 60 days to reprogram these core wounds, and that's what we do in our signature program, Heal Your Relationships. If you would like more information on exactly how to do that, and we do it customized to you, one-on-one with you. If you'd like more information on how to do that, you can book a call with my team. There's a link for it in the show notes, and we can see if we can help or not. And that's a free call. You can find that in the show notes. But there are 2 ways to reprogram this. Number 1 is what we call top-down approach. That is starting the reprogramming from your prefrontal cortex and then going down from there. And that is called auto-suggestion. And that has a specific 21 to about 48-day process, depending on how deep those core wounds are stuck. It might take you 21 days to somewhere around 48 days to completely eliminate them using auto-suggestion, which is a top-down approach. The second one, and in our programs, we actually use both and customize it to you. But the second one is bottom-up. Here we're starting from our subconscious wounds themselves and from our nervous system, okay? Because a lot of our childhood wounds are held in our nervous system. That's why we tend to have a startle response, or we tend to have flushed face and beating heart when something upsets us, right? It's immediate and it is in our nervous system. So we also have to reprogram from the bottom up. And that is called parts work or inner child work that we do in your body, okay? And we have created a very simplified process that is so powerful that I recently had a client who'd been stuck with this core wound of not feeling like she was prioritized in her relationship for decades. And she did this bottom-up parts work, body work approach from the subconscious up. And she just did it one time. This is something she'd been struggling with for 2 decades. One time. When I met with her the second time, she said, I'm not having those sensations anymore. I'm able to have clear, calm conversations. I don't know what's happened. This is very new for me. It's shocking, but I'm showing up differently. That is the power of this kind of stuff. You don't have to try. It is something that you become because we're doing it from deep within you. So those are the 2 ways that we heal core wounds. Auto-suggestion, which is top down, and inner child parts work that starts from subconscious body. So it's bottom up. And we combine both of them in 60 days to completely eliminate triggers and core wounds. Then this part 2 of full healing from core wounds is after you reprogram it, top down and bottom up, then you get to know what your core needs are. and learn how to communicate them in healthy ways and get your needs met without going into never-ending circular arguments. That is a separate and very essential skill. But you won't be able to, even if I teach you how to do that, you won't be able to do it until you first reprogrammed your core wounds from top down and bottom up. Okay, so those are two ways to completely heal core wounds. Reprogram both ways, and then find and learn about your own core needs and learn how to communicate them and get your needs met in a secure, calm, confident way. And that's what we do in our 60-day program. The whole program is 90 days, but you will have eliminated the triggers completely in 60 days. And the remaining 30 days, we just help you really become a master at that process so that once you're done with the program, you never, ever have to deal with that issue ever again. So if you're not sure what your core wounds are, then you won't be able to reprogram them, because you can't change something that you don't even first recognize, right? So if you're not sure what your core wounds are, I've made another video that walks you through what your core wounds are. There's a worksheet as well that comes along with that video, and you can go to that video, find it in my YouTube channel. We'll also link it in the show notes, and you can find your core wounds. And then now you know how to reprogram them. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help you one-on-one do that and completely turn your relationships around in 60 to 90 days, then there's a link to book a call below. And I will talk to you there. Thank you. See you soon.